Hello, everybody. Hi, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I'm all on my lonesome tonight. The Emmys do need a good bell firing, Rapunzel. I fully agree. For those who don't know, The Wheel of Time was not nominated for any category for the Emmys this year, which is surprising. But anyway, hi, everyone. I'm Tom. Welcome to Dragon Mount. I am by my lonesome today. My lovely co-host, Crystal, as most of you know, started her own business with a mobile bookstore, which is pretty freaking fantastic. She basically they have like a trailer and it's like a little bookstore, like it looks like an aisle in a bookstore. It has books on either side, and she has like little standees and stuff. And they go to events and block parties and conventions and things like that and set up their little bookstore. And she was doing that today. Losing audio fading in and out. Oh, that's weird. It's odd. Well, I'll stay really close to the microphone and hopefully that stops it. Is it still happening for you guys? If I continue to talk like this, do you still hear the audio dropping in and out if I'm close to the microphone? I hope that stops. Well, to avoid you guys having to just listen to me, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with processing. Okay, I'll check it out while I bring in our guests because they can do some talking while I fiddle with my nonsense. So let's see who's sitting backstage waiting for me to pull them in.
Look, here comes an awesome guest.
Hello, friends. It's the two extraordinary authors. Wait, hold on. I'm going to make sure I got this right because I double checked. Dr. David Ekrut, biomedical mathematics?
Yes.
Ah! And author and a beautifully wrinkled brained human who I've had the lovely opportunity to be on panels with, Jim Nettles. Welcome.
Thanks for letting me back in the door. I don't, we had to sneak in this time. I mean, it was.
Well, last time we talked, you were getting ready to move. Is that all done? Are you?
Well, we weren't moving. It's just we're trying to shift. We're trying to shift back and forth between our property down here and up in the mountains while we're trying to finish moving fully up to the mountains, which will happen eventually if it doesn't kill me first.
So you're running away to the mountains. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you in the least.
That sounds pretty epic.
Yeah.
You left the mountains. I don't want to hear about it. You went to Flatland, Florida.
It's true. It's very true. Though we were possibly making. Oh, it's a wild Charnice. What's up, Charnice? I haven't seen you in a minute.
Hello.
We were actually making plans for maybe meeting up in the real world because David and I do live like within an hour of each other. So that'd be cool.
Hey, Tom, you might want to check and see where your mic's on because what it is, you seem to be fading out of the.
Was it happening prior to the call when we were
not
chatting?
Not as much, but yeah.
Huh. That is odd.
It's our fault.
I will mess. Sorry, I'll mess around with it in a second. I might actually have to jump out of the call and then back in real quick, but I'll do that in a second. The guests are fine. It's just me. Okay, all right. I'll get it fixed. I promise. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick and give like the elevator pitches for your books and things like that, and I'll just jump in and out real quick. I'll be right back. I promise. I won't leave you for too long. I promise.
All right, we can take over.
I was like, I didn't know we were going to be hosting, but
I know, right?
So,
right,
Jim, you have a taller building than I, so why don't you go ahead and step in?
No. You first.
Okay. So I have a couple of jobs. I am a math professor. I did cancer research for a while and worked for pharma, but then I wanted my soul back, so I went back into teaching. And so I've written a number of fantasy books. My books have been called Wheel of Time Light, which I'm pretty sure was an insult, but I took it as the greatest of compliments. My books, you can find them on my website, davidekrut.com, or just type my name into Amazon. And let's see, what else, Jim? What am I? You've heard my spiel more times.
Ooh, what is your spiel? Yeah, so you've gotten your soul back. I sold it. I leveraged it. I was returned. Oh wait. Nah, we'll get there. I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah.
Now, you've written a bunch of books. Talk about the books.
Yeah. So my first book is called Taming the Elements, and it's about two young guys born in a time of peace and thrown into war, and they have to rely on each other to survive. So I grew up in Arkansas, and so a lot of that upbringing and the adventures that I went on, and forests and hills and spelunking, caving, and mountain climbing, all that, I sort of pull from that. And so there is, unfortunately, maybe a little bit of my Arkansan upbringing, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your take, in the books. I usually try and point people towards my standalone, which is called By the Blade, and it's like Indiana Jones in an epic fantasy setting. So you get action adventure, just sort of standalone, but it is also the characters show up in the Elwyn story. And I'm hoping for my next book to come out this year, but still going through final edit, so we'll see.
I'm Jim Nettles. I write under a bunch of names. I've done a bunch of stuff, science fiction, urban fantasy, some horror, some contemporary. My publisher is chasing me for the new series, which is a new cozy mystery series, which hopefully should be coming out early next year. I've written stuff on mythology, like fairy films over my shoulder, wrong shoulder, that shoulder. I write a bunch of nonfiction, stuff about business, security. If you happen to be in the writing side of the world, you can see that way. All right. Undercaffeinated. I'm one of the founders over at Continual Convention, where we do a bunch of online panels and kind of online convention stuff. David's been ducking me. I hadn't dragged him back out in a while. We've got a workshop company, Author Essentials. We're going to be cranking up a bunch of new workshops this fall. Okay. And I'm sure I do a lot of other stuff. And the next time I'll be turned loose in public is going to be Dragon Con. So
look out, Atlanta.
Yeah, look at Atlanta.
I'll sound any better to you guys now?
Yes.
Yay. Okay.
Well, you sound like Tom, but yeah, the audio's better.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the honesty. I couldn't figure it out, so I was just like, when in doubt, restart. That's usually the safe bet.
All right, Dad's back. We gotta behave.
Oh.
Well, okay. So my first question is, because obviously it's the talk of like all entertainment right now. Have either of you guys seen Superman yet?
No, I have a book to finish, and I've been throwing heavy objects on top of a mountain.
Yes,
that's fair. That's fair. And
I haven't been.
I
was going to say I haven't been ducking you, Jim. I have 3 jobs, so I have not watched Superman.
Well, okay, so I know teacher, dad, writer.
Yes.
Is that the 3 jobs?
No, the other. So math teacher, novelist, and I'm also the managing editor of 850 Business Magazine out of Northwest Florida. So I've got a magazine I'm trying to get to print, and so that I can, get it to all the people in Northwest Florida by I think September 14th. Yeah.
What's the content of the
so we focus on business. I do a lot of innovation, and so winter is like my innovation in tech. I like to focus on education for the fall. So this particular and everything, I sort of talk about the business angle and what's important to local businesses and entrepreneurs. And so the fall issue is the 2 features. The whole magazine has a little bit of variability, but I'm focusing on adult learners like us, and the business behind, and some of the economic impacts of forever learners. But and then I'm also just I went to a math conference because that's the cool thing to do.
Why not?
Teachers conference. But and I met with other mathematicians and other teachers that are interested in utilizing AI tools. And so, and I'm also, I talk with a lot of business owners in Northwest Florida, just because the nature of, the job. And, every AI comes up everywhere. And when people say AI, they mean generative AI.
Yeah.
But when generative AI comes up, there's a lot of durable skills, used to be called soft skills, but now durable skills that people are interested in that will help businesses. And basically, I went around to many of the colleges and universities talking to presidents and chairs to discuss what they're doing to help their students to learn these tools ethically, so that they can, leverage those skills for finding a job, to sort of loosen that grad gap, so that they can be, more capable of pursuing those jobs.
Yeah, and use AI somewhat in it too as a tool.
Yes, as a tool, as ethically. And
That was
I can go on this topic forever.
That word you keep using, what's that word?
That means that they know how to use it in such a way that they won't get fired for using it incorrectly, but also in a way that doesn't exploit someone negatively.
You mean like a certain lawyer that tried to use it to make their entire case for a certain court?
No. I didn't know this was going to be that kind of show, but
I didn't either. So, but we may as well.
Oh no, we're not quiet about where we stand politically here.
Oh, cool. Good.
We fully shun all of the MAGA crazy ridiculous people. And if anyone has a problem with that, they can just leave. I don't care. Because listen, as small as our platform is, and I fully believe this. I feel like people should use their abilities however they can to speak, especially against what's going on right now, but always. So I'll always just tell people exactly how I feel. And with all the crazy stuff that's going on in Florida right now,
I have that blunt disease as well.
There you go. Perfect. You know what I started doing? Everyone talks about how it's hard to meet friends as an adult.
Yeah.
And make new friends. I started just telling people right out, here, fuck Donald Trump. If you voted for him or any of those people, I don't want to be friends with you. So let's just get this out of the way right now. I actually did that with one of my neighbors. And
wow.
I was surprised because I was stereotyping her, I guess. Because she was a young white girl with purple hair, tattoos. She was walking her dog. And I was just oh, hi, how you doing? I wanted to pet her dog, because I don't have a dog of my own. My wife is allergic, so I will assault all of the dogs. Well, I ask first always, but I always pet the dogs as they walk by my house. And she was I only live 3 houses down. I was oh, that's awesome. And we were talking, and she was asking me about what I was doing. I was doing some nonsense in my garage, and I mentioned that we play D&D, and she said, "Oh, I've been looking for a game." And before I invited her to a D&D game is when I was let me get this out of the way right now. But she was oh, really? You don't like anyone that voted for them? Because I voted for them. I was oh, well.
Bye.
See you later.
See, I can't really take that approach, just because I teach and where
Yeah.
I live, and I don't put, especially on my job or in my business magazine, I can't really.
Yeah.
But, that's why I have you guys and cons, and
Exactly.
I have my people.
You can
And
find
then
your people, surround yourself with them.
We all wear masks in our day job, right?
Yeah.
Because
we live in this capitalist hellscape, we have to have our day jobs to make
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Well, I am a good little capitalist. I mean, I am a partner in a couple of businesses, so I have to be a good little capitalist, but
I don't have a choice. Listen, if we could burn down the system and we didn't need to, and we can live and everyone would have the equal standard of living, it would be great, but that's not possible at the moment.
that's why I want to live on top of my little mountain.
There you go. I don't blame you at all.
Since we're going there, I can't help but feel the parallels between U.S. capitalism and the empire, especially so kind of going back to season 1, because I binged that last weekend, and just to I can't watch that and not think, especially how we are privatizing prisons and producing products. Maybe we're not building the Death Star did I spoil things? Is this too soon? Too soon?
No, yeah, you're good.
That was season 1. So
yeah,
right.
And we always talk about how it ends, like how like most of the characters' stories end, and I use this picture as the
right.
Because, you know.
Well, but I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people drew the connection that Cassian was helping to build the Death Star in that prison, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that's us with our for-profit prisons, and as we continue to have concentration camps
Yep.
and different spaces for like all this to say, like, see here I'm going politically correct because I'm like, who's gonna watch this?
That's
might
I could
fire
say
me.
it for you if you want.
Yeah, please do.
the like, I mean, the idea of the way, especially in season 1, like we see them, even if you don't consider they're building the Death Star, like they are, like the Empire has tasked like all aspects of the Empire with assisting with building the Death Star. So like I 100 yeah, and we do, like, I think they confirmed it in a interview too. Like, yes, those things that they're building are going to the Death Star.
Well,
and not even in the last, like, don't get me wrong, the last like couple of years, the last 10 years or so have been crazy for the way the US has handled like prisons, but it's always been bad. Like we've used it's not even essentially, it is literally slave prison labor. Like that slavery is still legal in the US if you're a prisoner. That's in the Constitution.
Yeah, if you are come from a low socioeconomic background,
Exactly.
and then you're set up to reoffend, so they have a constant stream of workers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was a warden of a large prison in like Maine a few years ago who said, a lot of the people were getting released because there was a big push to release nonviolent, low-level drug offenders when marijuana was legalized, and the guy was like, "Oh, we're letting the good ones go," like essentially the nonviolent workers who are willing to work. We're letting them go, and we're losing this labor force. That's what he was arguing. Like, we can't let these people go because we're letting good ones out. That's what he said. That's actually what he said.
well,
Wow.
Yeah. So, but the analogy between Star Wars and like what's going on now is, well, the analogy between Andor and what's going on now is crazy. Especially in season 2, it ramps up like insane. And saying that the writers wrote this a year and a half ago.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Well, when you look at the interviews and things when Star Wars was originally released, a lot of it was modeled. We know how much was modeled on Nazis and uniforms and all that.
Yeah.
But so much of it was actually modeled on U.S. and the Vietnam War. So when you listen to the interviews and the discussions that have come since, how much was modeled on that? So as we've watched the development of the property, the stories, and the storytelling, you've got the consistent theme throughout of the Empire and how all of that works. But we still see a lot of it tuned and retelling the culture at the time of, when the films are made, when the different properties are made. If we look at some of the different books and games and things like that, even a lot of them do a really good job of reflecting changes in culture, but still reflect the overall through line, which kind of makes you look and go, has anything really changed that much?
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. The other thing that I've noticed in the last like 15-ish years or so in entertainment, not just in TV and in TV shows and stuff like that, but everything is, and Star Wars is a good example of that. And we've talked about this before, but I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. Like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, even Phantom Menace, and the prequel trilogy, the villains weren't focused as like they're horrible and don't like them. Like they made them cool and interesting, and like they kind of shoved how the horrible things that they were doing, like how it would affect individual people to the back, and didn't have it in the forefront, so that you could not empathize with the villains, but like them and not be gross.
Yeah, absolutely. Like all the characters are 3-dimensional. Most of the characters are 3-dimensional. And I feel the Empire almost has a better story arc in terms of developing like Cyril and Dedra's relationship, and like that whole tragedy could have been averted. And then hearing her background as an orphan, and I feel, yeah, they're definitely humanized, and you're like, wow, this is interesting to see the perspective of what fear drives them. And you have this tyranny where every layer, everyone's driven by fear of retaliation or some sort of punishment from those above, and it goes all the way downward, and it's palpable. And I think the actors sell that really well.
And there's no like cool villains, you know what I mean? Like we had Darth Maul, Darth Vader,
yeah,
even the Emperor to a point. Now it's just bureaucracy is the villain in this one.
Yeah.
Well, if in season 1, where you've got so many, they're reforming all the former Empire, leadership and whatnot, and it's like, oh, okay, you get to be out now, and we're gonna put you in the halfway house, and you get to now start working your way around. Versus what we see in season 2, and the thing that I thought was done so well overall was looking at what does it really look like when you have people that are given orders, and it's like, okay, what do we need to do to execute, right? How do you go about pulling things together and looking at people like Deidre, going through how she was raised. She was raised, basically she was raised by the state. Here's a good little drone, good little sociopathic tendencies. And she finds herself Cyril and in being able to pull him up, and his relationship with his mother, and seeing all those moving pieces.
Oh yeah.
His mother, you mean the largest villain in anything ever?
Yeah.
But Cyril, I do love that scene with Dedra meeting the mother for the first time, and her learning that Dedra was raised basically by the state, and then saying, oh, you poor dear. She's like, well, I had everything I needed. But what about a mother's love? And no one watching that was like, well, not your love. No one was watching that and thinking, she was missing. Yeah.
No one's missing that in their life.
Right.
Here you go. The Empire's mother, the Empire. That is kind of because the kids in those that are raised by the system in the Empire are raised for they're raised on propaganda and shit,
and if you look at some of the things like Clone Wars, where you get to see kids plucked at a very young age and run through to see who are the highest performers, and that's the officers and how they're run and how they're trained from a very young age. We spend a lot of time.
I want to point something out. Who else did that?
Oh, the Jedi.
Yeah.
Right? Jedi grab. Well, that's what I was going to say. Is we see the story of the Jedi grabbing children very young, going and saying, well, they have these skills, they have these talents, they have these abilities that need to be nurtured and controlled. So I mean, both sides are doing the same thing. Yeah. It's just more of a difference of, we're going to come pluck them for your safety versus we're coming and plucking the best and the brightest to serve the state. Aren't you so honored? Yeah. But I mean, it's like anything else. It's the mirror effect. We see the brown robes and that notion of warrior monks and all the things that we've seen and we were grown up in, versus nope, we're going to stick them all in plastic armor so that they all look alike, unless you happen to be an officer that rises high enough to have all of your little, access cards and access pins promoted to your levels of incompetence.
Then, and no one looks different. There's no individuality. Even the officers, everyone looks the same. There's no individuality, because that breeds, that breeds thinking, that breeds critical thinking and things like that. All right. So we're going to continue talking, and I'm going to give people like 5 minutes to get ready, but I'm going to share the link for the watch party now. So I'm going to get that out there. If you haven't joined us before for a watch party, this is a legit link. A legit web extension. It's a browser extension, works on all the major browsers. Netflix made it, and then they kind of took Netflix, the name, off of it so that the other streamers would allow them to use it on their things. So if you click on that link, I'll put it in the private chat for our guests so that they can click.
Wow, we get to be the cool kids in first.
I know.
David and I have never been the cool kids.
What cool? What's
Get out
that?
of here. You go to all of the cool parties at all of the cons.
I will say, no one was asking me to sing, karaoke at Multiverse, but you were up there.
Ooh, what'd you sing?
I was not given a choice.
Uh-oh.
Scotch was involved.
Okay.
I'm not the one that signed me up, and I drugged Jesse with me, and he went involuntarily. So,
And I think everyone was happier for it.
yeah, because God, it was awful. Whiskey in the Jar. We did the Metallica version of Whiskey in the Jar.
Okay.
And it's on video, and I'm slightly traumatized in the event that ever shows up.
Thankfully, the one that I've sang karaoke before, not many times because I'm terrible at it. I can't sing at all. I much prefer lip sync karaoke than singing karaoke. But in New Orleans, I did Madonna, I'm a Material Girl, on a stage wearing a boa and a wig, which was a lot of fun. Which I didn't know. My brother-in-law signed up. Me and my friend Zach signed our names up. We didn't know, and then they called us and they threw us on stage, and that happened. But we had a great fucking time. I did not give one shit about it.
Yeah.
See, I recognize the fact I cannot sing. That will not stop me from, because again, my voice is going to carry no matter what I do.
Yeah, I get that.
It's fun, anyways. And we had a blast at that.
The problem was when I got signed up, there was 12 people in the room, and then by the time I got drafted, there was 30,
40, yeah, at least
40, 50, all of whom had cameras going, all of whom were heckling, and all of whom I'm like, y'all all owe me a drink.
Speaking of multiverse, I know, Jim, you're going to be there, right? Or David, are you going to be there as well?
No, I'm gonna try to go over and socialize at Multi this year. I got to go play athletics, help support athletics for another event on the other side of Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
I'll be I have to go to Reno for a
I'm not going to see either. Well, I'll see maybe Jim a little bit, but I won't see either.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to come over and at least socialize. This will be the first one I've not been there running my mouth, and us having a continual meetup and doing a bunch of fun. So I hate missing it, but unfortunately, it's the being a responsible party now.
Yeah, that's what happens if you go to enough of them in a row, and you talk to enough people, and you're smart and useful and not a dick. You end up working, which isn't bad. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
if you're in the Atlanta area though, or nearby, or are okay with traveling, Multiverse Con is in October. I just shared the link to the website. It's a ton of fun. I will be a guest this year.
It's a lot of fun. I would be going if I didn't have to go to Reno.
That stinks. Oh, are you going to another mathematics convention?
It's I'm going with the math department for my college. But it's a mathy thing.
That's cool. So someone asked before we get too far away, I will also post it for those who don't want to follow along with the watch party link, which I will share again in chat. I have the timer on my screen, which is there. Yeah, it's over here. I will align the time, so if you are following by other means than watching on Disney Plus, that I'm sure are totally legal and not pirated, you can align your time to my timer and watch that way. But we'll wait another couple of minutes to let people get that set up. I saved a couple of things from chat that I thought were interesting. So, Reverse BLT said that it wasn't precedent; it was accidental research. They were talking about the Death Star, and then Noman Garden said, although who hasn't been guilty of accidental research? So it made me think of they said they don't really accidentally invent the Death Star, but there were a lot of people that are working on things that are around the Death Star that don't know they're working on the Death Star, which reminded me of like Oppenheimer. And
Mhm.
they knew they were making a
Compartmentalization.
bomb, but some of them didn't, and like some of them didn't know the extent of it and things like that. So they also, a lot of them didn't know it was going to be used right away.
And they recently discovered that the nuclear materials bled into the environment and have been giving people cancer all this time.
Yeah, I mean, you mean nuclear waste isn't healthy for you?
I was hoping for like a mutant superhero personally, but that didn't.
Hey, we
happen.
are getting Toxic Avenger. They did start pre-production on that, so that's exciting. We can see, like at least in an entertaining way that maybe.
Yes, but the Toxic Avenger was done so well the first time. I mean, really and the fact that Trauma is now a Disney property. I mean, does that mean the Toxic Avenger is now a Disney prince? I mean,
I'll take it. I think that would be hilarious to see Toxie wandering around freaking Disneyland.
I mean, I will tell you that was one of the things that disturbed me, was discovering that Disney acquired Trauma Studios. I mean, granted, they're buying everything else, but
yeah, I am a little worried about. I don't know what I want to say. Not the Disneyfying of things or anything like that, but them becoming too much of a monopoly in the entertainment kind of sphere.
Toxie is a Disney princess.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you do with the mop head. Yeah,
That's it. I totally take it. He has a small animal friend too, in a lot of the there's little...
It fits Disney's, Yeah, totally. I see it.
Absolutely. But back to Star Wars. Oh no, wait. What I mentioned Superman before we left, and there was a reason for that. Well, first of all, go see Superman as soon as you guys can. I know you guys have jobs and things to do and all that stuff, but if you do have a chance, see it. It is fantastic. The thing I wanted to mention was we had some news on the Wonder Woman front. The Wonder Woman script has been the writer for the script has been chosen, and they've begun writing the script, which was exciting. I saw that. I'm a huge comic book fan. I love superheroes. I haven't read a ton of like comic books like when I was a kid. I just wasn't exposed to it. But I've always loved superheroes, and like the MCU has been a ton of fun, and I'm glad that they're going in a new direction with it, and they're going to be mixing some stuff up with it after this next leg of the MCU, which is going to be interesting to see what they do with it. How are you guys on the MCU?
I mean,
and you can not like it. It's perfectly
no.
fine.
I love I feel like I definitely followed all of the Avengers arc, and I've seen a lot of extra stuff as well. And I had Daredevil. Like, I loved Marvel comics when I was a kid. I still have my Daredevil comics, and some others. But I grew up watching the X-Men cartoons. I still play a Marvel's themed RPG with people. So you could say I'm kind of a fan.
Yeah, and I grew up on primarily Batman.
Oh, DC.
Well, that was Dad's influence, right? I grew up on Batman, but I grew up on Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman. And then when I discovered Iron Man, which of course was a minor, I remember being like, "Oh, okay, Iron Suit, I can go with that." I had a bunch of the Archies and Caspers. So when I was growing up, we had a grocery store. And we actually sold comics. We had comics racks in the store. So it just was there. So I grew up on a lot of those. There's a lot of things that I've been a fan of since then. And it's one of those things of hit or miss as to how much of it I get to see or read, or, books to get out the door, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I've always been a big Batman fan too. I haven't I've never gotten the whole you have to be one or the other of a thing.
Yeah, I poke at it. I love Batman.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah. I do it too. I've always had a PlayStation, and Xbox people are like, oh, Xbox. I've also had Xbox. I don't care.
Yeah,
right. None of those this or that things like that. Have I been one thing entirely?
I mean, I obviously love Star Wars, or I wouldn't be here. But I also watch Star Trek with my parents, and I have
Oh, I
fond
love
memories
Star
of that. So,
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
you're also
especially
multi-denominational. Okay.
I mean, I am a scientist, so for me, like, Star Wars is more fantasy. We have to suspend disbelief with like pretending space travel is instantaneous. I mean, I think Jim, you and I have chatted about this. So
Yeah.
the idea of Star Trek is a little bit more of a, I don't want to say harder science, but it's a little harder of a science, like where like if you think of it in the sense of like a magic system in a fantasy, property, the science in Star Trek is harder than the science in Star Wars. They take a lot of things for granted of just like suspended disbelief in Star Wars, where Star Trek grounds a lot of their things in realism, which is why a lot of the tech from like the early Star Trek ended up becoming not exactly, but like, cell phones,
inspired, yeah.
data pads and things like that are all.
I mean,
it
Yeah,
inspired
I have
a lot of.
I have a data pad right here.
There you go. Yeah.
I have an LCARS unit right here.
I love and if you're a Star Trek fan, you've been eating very well the past 10 years or so, because there's been a lot of great Star Trek properties.
I still want my transporter, and I still want my phaser.
That's
oh man, we'd hang out every weekend. Who's running?
Absolutely.
Who's running this weekend?
Oh my god. If we
Yeah.
had,
I mean, for all the traveling I used to do and whatnot, if I could just have a transporter, I'd still be traveling.
Yep.
Just don't make me get on a plane a couple of times a week.
Yep. And that's why, and I, as a bigger Star Wars fan as I am a Star Trek fan, I still have to admit that is why any Star Trek ship that has a transporter could be any Star Wars ship in all of Star Wars, as long as it has a transport, because you could just transport people onto the ship or transport people off of the ship. Oh, your pilots, they're no longer in their ships anymore. We'll just pluck them out of the ship, and now they're in our brig.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to groom my kids into mastering quantum entanglement and fixing that for all of us.
They'll get that for us.
I was really disappointed because I wrote a story probably 15 years ago based around the notion that using quantum entanglement would allow you to create real-time galactic communication. And I had there was a whole thing there because one of the things that happens in it is somebody comes in and they manage to destroy the communication column, and that throws everything into chaos. They actually came out with a study a couple of weeks ago that says, no, you cannot use quantum entanglement. And I'm like, yes, I can.
I'm with Rapunzel on this one. So for those who don't know, the gateways from the Wheel of Time, they're basically wormholes. They're just, you're opening up a door, or you're merging two spaces into so that you could step from one to the other without having to travel the distance in between, which is essentially a wormhole. Like, if we can figure out how to make those, that is a feasible thing. And I agree with you. I much prefer not to be, because then there's the whole ethics of, are you once you've been transported?
Yeah, right.
Being unmade and remade.
And then remade, yeah.
I don't know. I've got some stuff that they could fix that. I'm all good for being unmade and remade.
Yeah, if you're remade perfectly back to your 25-year-old self.
Do you know? Is there just a dimension in the Star Wars universe with thousands upon thousands of the same person just screaming and forever, and then like every time you get remade on the other end of a transporter, it's just a new version of you, but you don't know that because the other you is dead.
Yeah.
See, Lower Decks, I think, could have fun with that, but nobody wants to.
Fucking love that show so much. If you have not seen Lower Decks, you must see it. But before we get too far into the Star Trek stuff, and the freaking watch party times out, let's get this episode started. I'm gonna share the link one more time, and then we'll press play on this episode and get watching. We're not gonna skip over the recap, so we're gonna watch the recap. And if you have the version of Disney Plus that has commercials, you'll probably still get them. And then when you jump back in the watch party, it'll jump to where we are. Because I tried to pay for the version without commercials and was hoping it would carry over to whoever's in the watch party. It does not.
Well.
Which is frustrating. So, but it is what it is. The idea is that we're rewatching this. So, like, you should have watched it already. All right. What was the other thing I just thought of? Oh, the crossover with Lower Decks and Strange New World.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that one yet. I'm way
Hilarious.
behind.
I haven't. I only watched like the first 6 episodes of Strange New World, and then that episode where they crossed over because I was like, I gotta watch that. But I really want to go back and rewatch the whole thing because it's so freaking good. Praise to the koala. I mean, for anyone who's in the Wheel of Time like fan community and knows Koala Sedai, I support that, but I'm unsure as where the koala.
I still haven't finished this season of Wheel of Time either.
Yeah,
Really good.
I'm
The third
behind
season
as well.
was fantastic. I'm so sad that they canceled it. But
Yeah, I know.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you guys have been giving me all kinds of bad news today.
I know. I'm sorry. Oh, well,
I'm here
on
for
that
you.
on that same side, which I forgot to have queued up so that we could share, the petition to save the Wheel of Time crossed 200,000 signatures this weekend. So.
Oh man, put that one in the link. Make sure. I bet everyone's here already. So
Yeah,
I'll find it.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. It's savewatt.com, which is really simple to find.
Oh, cool.
It crossed 200. I think it's 207 or something like that. Yeah, hold on, I have an image for everybody. And I really, obviously, we need to get that. We need to get that going because like we need to get it. I really want someone to pick it up before like the other actors move on to other projects and shit.
Find new gigs.
Yeah. So yeah, 207,337. So let's get that. Let's keep those numbers going, baby. Like if you tell 2 people to sign it, even if they don't like Watt, even if they don't care about Watt, just be like, hey, sign this for me. We'll get even more.
I'll see if I can give my students bonus points for it.
There you go. All right, I'm gonna give everyone who's watching with the timer a countdown, and I'm gonna press play at the same time. If you're in the watch party, you don't have to do anything. Just sit there. It'll start playing.
I can sing the final countdown, but that's
going to be stuck in my head.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks, man.
All right, here we go. I'm going to press play in 3, 2, 1, and play. So it should line up. Yep, we're good. It's all lined up. The clock is going. You can see it. Show is playing. Okay, cool. The
on Andor.
Yeah. Oh, I shared this last week, but when she opens the when Clea opens her drawer in the beginning of the episode to look for a gun. Oh, do I still have the image in here? No, that's the gun that she uses. Oh, I shared it in another spot. We see Han Solo's DL-44 in her little drawer of guns. Where is it? I have a whole. There we go. I can't wait to post these so I can get them out of my computer. So one of the things that we've been doing for our Patreons is like all of the assets that I download and notes that I take for each episode I've been posting on our Patreon for each show. I started doing it in the last show, so I did that for the Wheel of Time. I posted all the images that I downloaded. But for future shows and for past shows, I'm going to go back and do it for the other ones too that I still have stuff for. I put all of like the pictures I download and all of the notes I take and all the stuff for all the guests I have, like images and things like that, up on our Patreon for people to look at and hang out with and pick apart.
Kind of losing your audio again, Tom.
Yeah, you're
again?
dropping out again.
Son of a bitch. I don't know why it's happening again. I don't know what it is. I don't know why that is happening. I'll figure that out in a minute.
Right there where you got to see
Oh, I enjoyed that.
Luthen's kind of backstory and how,
Yeah, like their connection was. So this, I know the show's called Andor, but this entire episode just that we just saw pieces of dedicated to them was really cool.
Yeah, and their relationship is really cool. The two of them are awesome. I found the image I was looking for.
I do hope they do spinoffs.
Yeah.
Hans Blast.
Because like there's so many open threads between the show and the film of really cool characters with an amazing beginning to their story arc. And I'm like, and there's no season 3 to. So I really hope they do that.
Well, and again, I think some of the most important stuff we've seen come out of all of it with the series really has been getting to see a different take on the universe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's been one of the bigger pieces of it, is actually getting to see the bureaucracy, getting to see a lot of the things without necessarily, you're getting to see more of the true politics of it.
Yeah.
But the fact that really the bureaucracy is the engine that's going to do whatever it is.
The other thing that, and tell me if the sound is any different or better. I saw Reverse's comment of it's a spatial sound thing, so there's like different spaces that you can use. Yay! Okay, hopefully that means it's better. One of the things that I keep saying on your point, Jim, is that this show has given us a look at the micro scale of things. Like we get to see day-to-day people, like regular people's life, even just like small cogs in the Empire and in the Rebellion, like their lives, personal lives, political lives, official life, things that they're doing, but also their personal lives. Like you said about Cyril and Dedra, we got to see their relationship develop. We got to see Cyril's mother. So we see how it affects, we see how both the Rebellion and the things that they're doing, and obviously the stuff the Empire's doing, is affecting people on a micro scale, instead of like the original trilogy, the prequel trilogies are on like a macro scale. We're seeing giant galactic battles and like planets exploding and things happening on huge scales. Now we're seeing the effects on a family, the effects on this small farming village.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's also the notion of how small the rebellion really was. You get a sense of it being a lot larger and more organized when you see A New Hope and Empire and those than realistically it was. You get an idea of how nascent it still really was.
Yeah. And then another cool thing, I was just, since you mentioned the farms, is sort of experiencing like the illegal immigrant point of view from our protagonists, and just sort of humanizing immigrants in a way.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally the situation that is happening in our country right now. It's like they explain it exactly as an analogy. It's like, and whether they did it on purpose or not, I'm pretty sure they did.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It was illegal immigrants that were working for a company that they needed them specifically because they're cheap labor, and that company needed the cheap labor to work those fields because they couldn't pay people enough to
do the jobs.
Yeah. And the guy that worked for the Empire that was there inspecting them out and out said that. Like he said that blatantly, and then was like, that's the reason why I get to try to assault you right now, and you can't doing anything about it because
that's a creeper.
You're an illegal.
Yeah.
This was one of my favorite parts of this episode too, seeing Dedra, like, as somebody who grew up probably her whole life seeing the glory of the Empire, and really probably for a long time thinking that she's doing the right thing and they're doing the right thing, and then getting into ISB and seeing some of the darker side of things, but still rationalizing it to herself, obviously, and continuing. Now it's happening to her.
Yeah.
So now she gets to see it from the other end, and I like that a lot.
And then she had this is absurd. Like, she's not accepting it. She's trying to talk her way out of it because obviously she's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, yay! We have a friend. Yay! Crystal.
Hello.
David, this is Crystal. This is David.
Hey,
I think you've met Jim before.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I heard you were messing things up without me here. I'm sorry.
My microphone was being weird. It worked, and then it didn't work, and then I restarted my computer, and it worked again. I don't know.
That's okay. My camera's giving me.
I will.
There we go.
I'll give you the link for the watch party too, so that you can also join.
Technology.
Isn't it grand?
For just funsies, I'll post it in chat again. Also, I love that they brought back Krennic for this
Yes.
for this freaking show. He's so I've said this a million times, but you guys haven't heard me say it before. So similar to the way, Jim, have you read Wheel of Time?
Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah.
No, it's fine. I just was so I know how to properly.
There won't be a
frame
quiz. You're fine.
this. Yeah. The way that the white cloaks were introduced in the Wheel of Time were very buffoonish. So like in the books, you weren't really scared of them ever. Like they were annoying and they're horrible, but they weren't scary.
Right.
Similar to like Krennic in Rogue One, where he was failing constantly.
Yeah.
You know,
And
he was looked
afraid.
down on. Yeah.
Yeah.
This show did for Krennic what the Wheel of Time TV show did for the White Cloaks, in that
Yeah,
he's fucking scary now.
I can see that. And I mean, but I think there's, one of the other aspects to this, which is when you look at the settings, because I mean, everything tends to be very stark white, very crisp white, right? Stormtrooper uniforms,
Sure.
everything else. When you look at their actual uniforms, they're kind of this creamy off-white, a little gray.
Yeah.
And that's the
You know, and I
ISB
mean,
uniform too. So like that
that
tells you
notion of the
something.
ISB being no, we're here to make sure everything is legitimate. We're and the fact that everybody in the Empire gets a cloak. Once
Oh
you hit
yeah,
a certain level.
those cape, like, listen, I will say, I love the capes.
I would take one and wear one all the time.
They capes.
I made an argument to my gaming group that we need to bring back cloaks or capes. I mean, it makes more sense, right? If you get too hot, you can put it over your shoulders.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, why did someone ever decide that putting your arms in it would make it better? It doesn't.
I don't know.
Doesn't make
Honestly,
it
I
better.
don't know.
More restrictive that way.
Yeah.
Anytime we talk about cloaks, this always pops into my head. I grew up in New York, and we moved out of New York only like 10 years ago or so, but we were in New York for Hurricane Sandy, and we had no power for a month, and it snowed the day after the hurricane. So
Oh man.
my wife and I were walking around in our cosplay cloaks in the house.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because why not? I remember
Yeah.
I answered the door when I think the power company was like going around making sure everyone shut off their electrical, like shut the mains off on their electrical boxes. They were just going door to door, knocking on every door, telling people to shut their mains off. And I answered the door in my fucking cloak.
That's epic. That is amazing.
Every time when I look at all the fun analog technology, which warms my cold dead heart, it's that whole thing of, I wonder what it took them to do to get all the analog technology in place to be able to do all the filming.
That's fair. There's so much, like, I know they filmed on several locations, mostly in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
But they did build some pretty massive sets for this. That they did a lot of practical stuff, which I like. I like that they're going back. It's crazy that making these sets practically, like physically in the real world, for people that don't know what that means, is often cheaper than having them digitally made.
Well, and you're getting better. I mean, honestly, everybody's gotten so used to the CGI. I think it's like anything else. The CGI enhancement can be helpful, but when it's straight up, everything is green screen. There's nothing real. You're not crossing that uncanny valley, right? And I mean, you feel it. I'm a huge fan of practical effects.
Me too. One of the things that's really cool that they've started doing, specifically, it started with The Mandalorian, I think, was the first show that they did it in, and they've used it on several other shows and now movies, and the technology is adapted. I think this image is of it. Yeah. So they have this, they build the practical sets, and then they have this screen. I forgot what it's called.
If I remember right, it wraps on 3 sides, and it's a giant LED screen.
Yeah. And it moves with the actors and the cameras, which is really cool. So like it's a living environment that they're in, and there's and this is something that works that goes along with AI. I was thinking about it earlier today when I was looking up that screen. The volume, yes, that's what it's called. The volume. There's James Cameron, I think, started messing around with it, and when he filmed the first Avatar movie, he had a camera that when he looked in, he would see the CG world that the actors were walking around in the green screen in, so that they can go back and do things. Now they have that, which is the volume. Now the actors can also see it, so it helps with the acting. But another thing that they're working on is like a almost VR type thing where when they're walking around in this on the set that has these screens that they could see, and if they were to physically interact with one of the digital things that are there, it responds to them.
Right.
That's what they're working on now. Like if they walk by a bush, it'll move. And like
cool.
Yeah, I've seen a fair amount of stuff on the technology they developed for that, what they're what it's continuing to do. But they really are getting closer to holodeck level technology.
Like advanced reality. Yeah.
That's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why I almost always choose Star Trek or over Star Wars when people were like, if you could take something out of like a fantasy, like the holodeck.
I would
I want
change
the holodeck.
D&D forever.
Oh my god!
It's like I think
God.
we would all die in there though. Like,
I would.
Safety's off.
Oh god. Oh man, yeah. Safety's off with D&D. That would be. Wait, does then if you get polymorphed in the holodeck and the safety's off, do you stay as the animal if then they shut the holodeck off? These are the questions.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that is the least desirable.
Not it.
Yeah.
Not it.
No, right.
Oh, my sound is. All right, switching to the different headset. Hopefully this is better for you guys in a second.
Who would have thought Will's dalliances would have saved her?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Keep talking.
Cool. I changed to this microphone, so we'll see.
It's a little quiet, but yeah.
It's not as good as my other microphone, but the other one is being annoying. So we're gonna use this one for now.
And I have to tell you,
hopefully it won't cut in and out.
Looking at how they built out, all of the living spaces here, obviously they do not have mosquitoes.
Oh my god, I know, right?
Right.
That's not
There's
Florida.
no netting, zero netting.
Yeah.
Yavin just doesn't have bugs, apparently.
I want that world.
I'm down. Let's
Me
go.
too.
Yeah.
Especially for us being in Florida. Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. And as most of the people in chat know, I was attacked by fire ants a couple of weeks ago.
Man.
Dave, you weren't there when I was telling Jim. I was cutting the grass, forgot to drink water, which Crystal sent me a lovely sticker to remind me to drink water all the time, which this is filled with water. I got a little heat stroke, fell down. I didn't faint. I fell, but I landed on a fire ant hill.
Oh my god.
On my hands and knees, so I have bites like all up my arms. You can't really see them now; they're mostly healed. My legs are not healed; they look bad.
Oh
but
man.
The ER doctor stopped counting after like 80 something bites.
That is crazy.
Again, flamethrowers.
Just a useless animal.
AstroTurf, man. Like, why can't we just all have AstroTurf?
Bro, if it was up to me, it would be concrete. It would be concrete.
Right.
It would be concrete.
I feel like
100%.
Well, AstroTurf wouldn't be as hot, right?
That's fair. The
most things with the fire ants where you want to go and dump the ton of molten aluminum into it and go map it out.
Those are so cool.
Yeah, you need some vengeance. Please catch that on camera and be like, just show us your revenge.
Murdering
it. They're already dead, aren't they? Like Probably. You've already.
Oh, I put so much fire ant like bait
everywhere. Yeah,
everywhere. Like my whole yard, the back, the front, everywhere. I had like 3 bottles of it.
Yeah.
I put double the amounts that that the thing said it needed.
Tom's yard is now toxic. It's fine.
Yeah, for bugs at least. The thing I hate most is grass. I wish we can get rid of it, but
That
that's
is
when
my
I'll get worried. By the
biggest
way,
allergy is grass pollen. So I'm
Yeah.
with you.
that's when I'll get worried about like our dystopian thing. Like everyone says, water is going to be the first thing to go. So like when states, like especially red states, start like outlawing like HOAs and stuff, enforcing grass, like keeping it alive, that's when I'll get worried. Because that'll be the first thing to go, is like people having to maintain lawns because it uses so much water.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to happen, but I also, because I hate keeping grass for so many reasons. But
You're like the dystopia. America's not so bad. I don't have to keep up with my grass.
yeah.
Well, it's choose your dystopia.
That's fair. I know. My old house, I had just clover everywhere. It literally looked like a field in like Scotland. Like it was just solid clover, no grass anywhere. It looked great,
fined.
I thought.
You get fined here. They're like, what'd you do to your grass?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, here I would too, in this new place that we live. I love these meetings that they have with in that.
One of the things I love here is the notion of just the round room, right? The round table.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gives the illusion of equality to the people that are in that room.
Yeah, the symbolism in this is just outstanding. The cinematography, the colors, everything is. Of course, though, it's Disney, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they like. Don't get me wrong. They had a ton of money behind their stuff, and like they spent what $5 billion on Star Wars.
Yeah,
something like that.
The one thing that kills me is the view screen up there looks like it belongs to the Starfleet, right? You could see it just absolutely being the view screen that pops on. Oh, red alert.
Yeah. Oh, also, so K2SO, when they were bringing him back to life, and for this whole episode, it's kind of like they don't tell him that he's in the rebellion.
yeah.
Because he's like, who are we hiding from? Like, why are we hiding? Like, it seems like he's like not fully reprogrammed, like they talked about earlier. In the comic, so this show kind of retcons a little bit how Cassian and K2SO met, and like how he became his droid a little bit. It's better than I think, at least, than the way they did it in the comics. But in the comics, when they put him back together, they were reprogramming him and then had to stop because like Empire troops were coming in, and it was like he's only 80% reprogrammed, and then like they turn him on and he's helping them, but then he starts trying to arrest them and they shut him down and they start reprogramming again, and he's only 50% reprogrammed, and then like throughout the comic he eventually gets down to like 90% reprogrammed, and then that's just why he functions the way he does.
That's fine.
Good enough.
But in this one, they changed it obviously. But I love that they got Alan Tudyk back for it, and he's got the same kind of personality, really funny.
Yeah, he's perfect comedic relief.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Comic relief.
That was one thing that we talked about in this show does specifically very well. Softening the blow of things with decent comedic relief, like every now and then. Like it's broken.
It's the right level of dark comedy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think I was more sad when he died in Rogue One than.
Yeah.
Well, in this particular set of scenes here with her, basically it's Morse code, and everything else goes also back to kind of those roots of a World War II spy thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There are so much of the roots of the entire universe, and that's part of what I really loved about this particular episode.
Oh yeah. The thing that I love about this show too, for that reason, is like this is the best show that if you want to introduce if you want to introduce somebody to Star Wars, this is a great show to do it. Now, obviously, the quality of the special effects in this is far greater than the original trilogy. But if that doesn't pull somebody out of something, like if that's okay, this is a great introductory to the Star Wars universe, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Even people that don't know Star Wars, they know the Death Star. They know the rebellion. They know the Empire, and that's all you really need.
And it slowly introduces you to the Force. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just a
so,
little bit.
You get the little hints of it.
yeah. And then you finally get the magic system at the end.
Yeah. I just love being able to. It's basically watching it like a sitcom level like view of the Star Wars universe. We're seeing specific people in their daily lives instead of like like we said before, big events.
Yeah, almost like I guess the Seinfeld of Star Wars, with a little dark comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like trying to think of who would be Kramer. So like I'm picturing like all different
gosh.
characters opening the door and doing like the Kramer thing when he opens Chewbacca coming in. Like, no, that doesn't work.
Now they already tried that with the holiday special.
I think the only argument, I forget who brought it up last week, against introducing someone with this is the storytelling in some of the other Star Wars properties is not as strong as it is here.
Yeah. I think
That's very generous.
yeah, it's not the greatest in all of them.
Not the greatest. Yeah.
Though I saw like there's a really great pattern to watch the in which to watch the prequels that make them hit harder. Like especially for children, like if you introduce them with episode 1, episode 2, and then watch the Clone Wars TV show, the Rebels, the Clone Wars TV show, then you watch episode 3. It makes it hit so much harder because you actually develop like a.
You're watching it in real time, basically.
Yeah, but you also develop like a more stronger tie to Anakin. Like the Anakin in the Clone Wars cartoon is just so much more in depth and likable than.
And better acted.
Yeah. Well, I will defend Hayden Christensen in that.
Oh.
He was directed to act the way he acted in that by the director.
Understood. Doesn't help.
Oh no, yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. But that's one of the reasons why I want to have a panel that is George Lucas is the worst thing that happened to Star Wars at a convention, just to have people come in and yell at me.
Yeah, that would be a fun panel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I did love all the Easter eggs of all the different things you can see inside.
Oh, yeah. Wait, hold on. Are the Shankara stones there? No, we didn't get to see it. The Shankara stones from Indiana Jones were in the back of Luthen's shop for a lot of the scenes. It's just sitting on a shelf in that back area, not even out in the display area, in the back area. Do I have the other picture?
And the whole debate about whether or not that was Jar Jar's head.
Yeah. That's what I was going to bring up. The Gungan's head. I had that. We looked at that last week, but it's a fun.
But I mean, being the fact that I'm the antiquities junkie that I am.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, Gungans have bones in their ears. Who knew?
Yeah, that's weird. Partially in there.
Their ears are longer than that.
Yeah.
But being the antiquities junkie and museum junkie that I am, I was really afraid they were just going to blow up the whole shop and all those antiquities.
Yeah. I'm very happy they didn't do that. I would have expected Luthen to have it rigged to blow up, to tell you the truth.
I'd have figured he had that place wired to go.
I was surprised that he didn't have some sort of contingency plan, like a cyanide fake tooth or.
Yeah, I was expecting that as well.
Yeah. Like
some sort of. But then when he turned around, I was like, nope, it's the dagger he just introduced.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, he was standing near the dagger, but I was able to have it out. Like
carotid artery would have been better. Like there were better ways to be completely dark.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
It's Disney. You can only have so much arterial spray.
I guess. Yeah, you're right.
I guess.
Oh, I love this girl too. Like. Yeah, she like gets excited. She's like, "Oh man, they've been used. Who knows? Like, it was really ingenious what they did." And she starts laughing.
Yeah, absolutely. But this goes back to how well they create even single-serving 3D characters, where you're like, as a geek, I'm like, I totally identify with this.
Oh yeah.
Just like, look at me. Look what I did.
Yeah, she's like, oh, this is
I
so
love it.
interesting. Like what they
Yeah.
did here is so interesting. And then she starts laughing, and the guy's like,
She's like, oh.
oh, sorry, whoops.
Oops.
You know who else is a really interesting character? I have been obviously we've been watching Star Wars now so much, but I've been watching so much Star Wars. Uh, Last week I watched the rest of this like the episode 10, then I watched 11, 12, Rogue One, and then A New Hope, just because I felt like I don't know I had time. I was sitting at the computer. I just put it on in the background, and I never thought of it, but I forgot his name. The Moth. Uh, um, that confronts Darth Vader when he walks into the like the meeting for the first time and is like, Lord Vader, when this space station is fully operational, it'll be the power and the universe. And then Darth Vader chokes him. Like I was like, this guy was like talking shit to Darth Vader and told him he ain't shit. Like that's what this guy just said to Darth Vader. Like that guy has balls. That guy has some balls. This is another side character that was interesting. So I also looked up Clea to see if there was anything on her like afterwards. Like I haven't read all the Star Wars comics or read all the novels, and then who knows what's canon and not these days. But Clea is alive at the end of Andor and Rogue One because we don't see her die or anything in Rogue One.
Yeah, I was.
So do you
Again,
guys have any
we
thoughts on what
about.
No,
go
yeah,
ahead.
we talked about it a little bit. But do you guys have any thoughts on like what she could be doing after this?
I don't know. She was pretty rattled by losing Luthen, and then just like they built the alliance, the rebellion, and then like she didn't get her hero's homecoming. So I don't know. Like
and the way that they treat she even says it in this
Well, and
episode.
I think
Like
there was that
the way they
degree
treat
of
Luthen and...
like we did all this stuff, but then not to get that final recognition, but then also to have that thing that says, "Oh, now I understand why he couldn't come home or couldn't come."
yeah.
I mean that recognition of where she's that bridge.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, she was kind of one of the big breakouts out of the series as well.
Amazing. Well, they actually upped her role in season 2 specifically because of how awesome she did in season 1. And the on-screen chemistry between her and Skarsgård. They expanded the character's role in season 2 because of that. So yeah, 100% agree.
I mean,
well, it
one of
makes
my
you want
favorite
more,
scenes
though.
with her was in there where she was trying to get the listening devices out of the beast, and just the way of ramping that up and the...
Oh yeah. Oh, and then Lonnie telling him, like, manipulating his, even like physically moving him and telling him, suck it up and do what you should be doing.
Yeah.
That really made her shine as a strong character. And I already liked her.
Yeah.
But and then seeing her knowing her backstory, it would be nice if she went on, but I don't know if she would be part of the rebellion that they built that sort of rejected the father she was forced to kill.
Yeah. I could see her like continuing
for them,
Yeah, that's fair. I could see her like being a, like working in like rebellion intelligence, or even like since she's more connected.
She's an analyst.
Yeah. I could also see her dealing with like the network of keeping everyone cohesive. Like, she can, taking up communication between the cells and things like that, since she's already used to doing that.
Yeah, she juggled a lot, so
I would say she definitely killed him.
I mean, she pulled the plug, literally.
She pulled the plug, literally killing him.
Literally pulled the plug.
Yeah.
On the machine that was keeping. I mean, if you went into a hospital and there was someone that could live and you pulled the plug, you murdered them.
Yeah, and we don't know. Like he could have, he was in a coma and he was injured, but he wasn't dead. Like he could have recovered. So
yeah,
Acted is a wonderful drug.
Mm-hmm. The who was the other one the other really there was a couple of characters that I was like, we don't see what happens to them.
Bix.
Bix is another. Oh yeah, so
You get to see Bix at the end where she
has a
got the
baby.
kid.
yeah,
Like she has Andor. Like he never knows he's a father.
yeah.
That was kind of frustrating.
And something I wanted to ask both of you about as authors. And I feel like I don't know why I feel this way, but it was my first instinct, and nothing has assuaged me from it. I feel like telling these stories with like more realistic, gritty conclusions to stories, like not even just like the show itself, but like Cassian's conclusion with his relationship with Bix is she leaves, he never sees her again, she has a kid who's never going to meet their father.
Okay. The one thing I'll say is I laughed my ass off when I saw that. I was like, they pulled out a PK meter.
Oh yeah. when the thing opened up, 100% thought the same thing.
Sorry,
our Ghostbuster fans in the audience. And then like a lot of the character arcs have very dark but gritty and realistic endings. Cyril gets shot in the head, die in a second.
At the same time, like she knew she was making a sacrifice, but I feel like because we knew Andor was going to help get the thing that killed the Death Star, right? Like, I don't know. I know I've seen some arguments, people saying it felt contrived. That's, that scene with her making the sacrifice because she didn't really know that she was making that huge sacrifice. Other than, I guess, the mystic, I don't remember the name of the mystic in the market that had semi-Jedi powers of healing and could, you remember that scene? Anyways, some sort of clairvoyance. So I guess if she was a believer, then she knew he was destined for greatness. I don't know. I have mixed feelings.
She also, it kind of is like a little bit of a fridgy thing too, because like, oh, I'm holding him back from his greatness, so I'm going to remove myself, and like,
and I think that was female. I think that was because of the movie, because there could have easily been a story where they conquered together.
Yeah, of
right.
course.
Like, so because of the movie,
they talked about how they wrote. Like, they didn't have the idea to have this Andor show when they wrote Rogue One, so they had to marry the two together. So 100%.
Well, I think there was also a degree there of they did that to. He needed to be that little bit of extra broken.
Broken.
Yeah. No, I mean that.
It's easier to do these darker conclusions to character arcs in visual format, like on a television show or in a movie, than it is to do in a book. Because often in books, you don't see these.
No, it wouldn't work.
Fast. Okay.
Because you need a decisive protagonist, right? Like I'm wholly in with the rebellion. Wait, but no, Bix. I'm not in with the rebellion, but I'm totally in. Then you have a year of missions that are off screen, like no action happening, and then he's with Bix. Like, so you sort of see this different perspective of action is happening. He's doing things. He's even getting hurt and wounded off screen. You're never seeing that. You're seeing 1 year forward. Like, I don't know if a book would carry the same way.
And then there's also like Cyril. Cyril was a antagonist essentially throughout most of it. But his death and his conclusion was
and it wasn't Andor that did it, and he didn't even know who he was. It's like, who are you?
Well, that line right there just sort of cemented the whole thing of Cyril's entire life, right? Who are you?
Oh yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. I like
that's
that.
kind of, he died.
Yeah,
with
I will tell you
more so than the shot to the head.
I probably laughed way harder at that one than I should have.
Oh, I was hysterical.
I thought it was going to be Will that killed him. Honestly, I was like, Will's going to kill him, and then he died, and I was like, well, he's there. It was kind of, So.
I like that they brought that kid back.
Yeah.
They gave, and they're kind of showing that he's, going to have to deal with what he did to Cinta and Vel, and how he's like pushing him. He would be another great, character to see.
Yeah, he has pain. We want to see where that pain leads him.
Yeah.
But
I was watching also like The Wire. I'm rewatching The Wire, and there's a lot of character arcs that end like that, and and it's
The series.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole series too. But like a lot of character arcs just like are over in a split second with little to no fanfare or event around their conclusion, and it was just so much more gritty and like realistic. And I'm just wondering if there's some sort of carryover into like the way we watch it and it feeling more real, not better in a sense, but I don't know.
More realistic, more like life.
All right, so the episode did end. So if anyone is in the watch party, it may continue playing for you guys when I exit the watch party. If you want to keep watching, feel free. But also, please, stay, hang out with us for at least another 20-ish minutes or so, because that's, we want to finish our little funsies that we do every week. But yeah, the way that they wrap up character arcs and don't in this show, I think, is great. Do you guys have any strong feelings in either direction for any specific ones?
The writer in me wants the writer in me wants character arcs to be wrapped up.
Yes.
Okay.
But the other part of me recognizes that sometimes you want somebody who looks like they are going towards some major thing, and all of a sudden their arc just gets cut off. That notion of, oops, stray bullet takes out somebody that you're expecting to be that big important person, which can be a fun catalyst. But I mean, that's one of those things that's not quite Game of Thrones where, your favorite character is guaranteed to die, but
right. But yeah, I mean, I like the realism, and sometimes people leave our lives and we don't know what the hell happened to them, right? Like they're
Andor sister.
They're gone. Yeah. And that did sort of bother me. Two things. I know some of it was symbolic. He was searching for a family and he found it, even though it was never his sister, and we never knew what happened to his sister again. And that like the writer in me, that bothered me. But then I turned it. I was like, well, it's sort of symbolic. And then the TIE Avenger like showed up in episode 1.
Yeah. And
it was still, I know it was symbolic, but I was like, man, it really would have been nice to see it again.
To see more TIE Avenger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
like how my whole camera went away. Sorry.
And I know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I know that they planned from this conversation mostly that they plan like spinoffs, but yeah, it would be nice. The author in me wants to see conclusions to certain people's threads, but at the same time, the realism, Game of Thrones-ish approach of lives end and without fanfare. We lost your voice, Tom.
Oh no, yeah, we're good. I was just answering a question to Aaron, who's in the room.
Well, and I think getting to see stuff like, the experimental TIE Avenger that doesn't entirely work like you would expect, right? It's that, well, it's a prototype, and
See, that was another great little bit of comedy in a scene that was pretty rough, like right in the beginning.
Yeah, it was comedy with suspense because he had to figure it out. It was very well done, I think, that scene.
But I will tell you, one of the things to me that really set the season very well was that first scene where it's this poor young girl who's been, for whatever reason, she's facilitating this, right? She's setting this up, and he's got to go give that same kind of a talk that Luthen had given him. That one of, we're here, we're doing this, this is the right thing to do, but that he's got to talk her through this. And that moment of, oh, that pilot's kind of hot. When does he get off duty? That little bit there. But the seeing Andor having shifted from the one having to be pulled in to where Andor is now the one who is keeping people going along. He is continuing to build the rebellion, and he is the one having to stand there knowing his ass is on the line. Yeah. Because all she would have to do and go say, he's not the pilot, he's a spy, whatever else. She might have to answer a few questions. But that moment of, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? No, you are the rebellion. That little talk, I think, set up the season so well.
But I think also that is just part of what makes him a great character is the way he, like the bellhop who becomes part of the rebellion on Gorman. Yeah. Like the way he tries to connect with people, found family. So like, I think that's what's part of what makes his character great and helps him to go on to be a great leader within the rebellion, even though he only ever makes it to captain. He's still like a prominent figure. And yeah,
he also becomes like the de facto, and I feel like it builds on his, like, the driving point of him, which is his sister, and like that situation, which is like he's the de facto. If someone got left behind and you need to go get them, send him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, you know, he doesn't want to leave. He'll never want to leave anyone behind like that ever again. So, like, you know, Mon Mothma, then Clea, and they send him to get Jyn Erso in Rogue One, and like.
And then even someone mentions it is like he needs to just stop saving people.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, no, he won't. That's his whole thing, and and that's another great like part about his character, especially not seeing like a conclusion of the arc with his sister. Like, he just never knows what happens, and that's it. Like, it feels unfulfilling, but at the same time, it gives so much to his character that it doesn't make me upset as a viewer to not see that. Like, so you said, like, so as writers, and David, you said before, and Jim, you said it too, you know, the writer in you wants to see.
Yeah, there's no like definitive. It's like you mentioned it more like Seinfeld. There's no major 3-act structure story arc that you can be like inciting incident, like you're looking for it. And even in season 2, you can almost pull those elements out. The Empire has a more clearly defined story arc and goals, and it's the inciting incident. They find resource they need, like, and then it's almost disparate in some ways on the rebel side, on the factions, but that sort of also makes sense since they're still building the rebellion. Right. But at first the author in me, I was like, oh wait, I can't, my protagonists don't have a like a definitive, like, you know, fully completed story arc within this that is and then like there's a lot of scenes that we don't even have, or even entire episodes we don't even have our protagonist.
Yeah.
And anyways, but
this show was like, I don't know if they originally set it out to be an ensemble like thing, but it ended up being that. Some of my favorite scenes in the show were the juxtaposition between like Mon Mothma and then like the characters on the ground doing like fighting, like when it would show her doing her fighting either in a boardroom or
with
making
words,
with words, or in a party, like the festive evening episode was jumping back and forth between the fight on Gorman and her party, like her
which were anxiety filling. All of those parties,
yeah, absolutely. Oh man, just and being able to pick her back up, I know everyone in chat knows this, but just for you guys, do you guys know about the character? So the actor who plays Mon Mothma, she played Mon Mothma in the prequel trilogy in a cut scene. She did the Mon Mothma speech for the prequel trilogy.
Oh, that's right, in the original.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And
and she had a meeting with Bail Organa and Padme. That was cut as well. So it was like her, Padme, and Bail Organa having a meeting just prior to giving that speech.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So she's been Mon Mothma for like 23 years or something.
Well, and one of the things I also saw was a discussion talking about the difference between the speech given then and the speech in Andor, which was really interesting. If the study of the speech given in that one versus now, and the differences in tone and how it ramped up and everything else was a really interesting piece that I watched, kind of the contrast between the two.
I am writing that down to make sure I look at that, and we could talk. I'll totally give you credit, and we could talk about it next week because I want to look at that.
But there's a really interesting piece about the difference in tone and timbre, because I had forgotten that she had done that until I was watching something in while Andor was on, and I caught a piece talking about that particular speech. I was looking for something on that speech for some reason. I don't even remember what it was. And that's how I came across it, was looking at the compare and contrast between the original version and the new version.
Okay.
So it's a really interesting piece if you can find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely look that up, and I'll, like I said, totally give you credit for putting that thing in my head. Also, she looks so much like the original actor,
Yeah.
like so much like her. It's insane. They look like they could be mother and daughter, or sisters, or cousins, like so much alike. Just another fantastic acting job too. The casting was amazing. There's nothing I don't. Is there anything you don't like about Andor? It's hard. Honestly, it was hard for me to find anything.
The acting was top notch. You can't even down to whoever the casting director is.
Genius.
It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was not able to pick anything out that I didn't like about Andor, to tell you the truth, other than I want more.
Yeah. I think the thing that probably hit me the hardest was the fact of they were trying to cram 5 years into the one season.
Yeah, I was apprehensive about that.
I think that they
actually that's the one thing I didn't like, I think. Yeah,
I think if we'd had been able to get that into 2 years or 2 seasons, to do the 5 years in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The off scenes, the jump 1 year and all the off scene stuff with Andor, I would have liked more of that. Yeah, I think that's, you hit the nail on the head. My complaint is that I wanted more of that story.
Yeah. Though I'm with you on that 100%. And before when they announced that this is what they were doing, like they were going to announce that they were going to release 3 episode blocks, and then basically a year will pass in between each episode block drop that they put out, I was like, that's crazy. How is that going to work? But honestly, and especially not just the story and like wanting to know stuff that happens, but from a writing perspective, like, are people going to get lost watching the show with so much time?
No, I don't think that was the case.
No, I think they did great.
I think since Rogue One paved the way, right? So you were already rooting for Andor.
That's fair.
And so I think that the way they built up all the tertiary characters, as well as like you mentioned, the geek, they were like, I feel like all of that was well done. Having said all of that, I still would prefer to have all the bits in the time jump to help build up the rebellion more.
Yeah. I think it leaves an opportunity for them to do the spin-offs and still have it in the timeline of the Andor TV show without
kind of fill in the holes.
Yeah. It leaves it open for other writers and other directors and other actors and things like that, and not have to be married to anything specific, because they could be like, they could bring Cassian back even for like guest star parts and things like that. Like, in that year he was on. I guess went to Mos Eisley for whatever. Yeah.
That does leave a lot of story possibilities with people we already like. That's true.
Yeah. Well, I can totally see them doing that.
I love your positive spin.
Tony Gilroy talked a lot about how he kind of treated this as his almost a magnum opus of writing in creating something original, but in a fixed and known universe, right? Yeah. And the complexities of that. And
being surrounded by a property where a lot of your main characters have, like, we know what's going to happen with them.
Right. And to create something that compelling to explain, how did you get to here, right? Because Andor doesn't die until later on. But there's a couple of things I think that made it, that made things strong. I think specifically about the scene with, Andor and Bix, right, where she finally gets to exact revenge on the guy that tortured her, and it was just that, we know you need this little fix to help straighten out your problem, so we're going to help make sure that you blow him off the face of the planet.
I love that. Yeah, that was a great scene.
That little scene where you could almost see that notion of that ghost lifted off of her.
Yeah, right? I'm fixed now. Yeah,
I'm okay now. But the one thing to me that keeps coming back to me about the entire series, right, was that notion of Andor being the messenger, right? That's what she said, called him, was the messenger. but I kind of think more of that archetype of the herald coming in of he is that bridge between both sides of the rebellion. But he shows up at that moment when a message needs to be sent, something needs to be done, and he's growing into that role of being the messenger and the herald. When we look at the difference between season 1, the reluctant, I'm just trying to survive, and then season 2, which is the experienced spy. You know, and that season 2 where it is the herald has been unboxed, the herald is unleashed. And when he shows up, and this is the reason to me that compressing the 5 years into a season worked like it did, was because you got to see the salient points where the herald had to be there.
Yeah.
You know, but it was also at the same time, it was written so tightly. And this is the thing you can't complain about with Tony Gilroy. It was written so tightly and pulling you along. But at the same time, that's the reason I say that the pacing and some of the things that fed into this, you know, the second Gorman massacre and some of these pieces that you get to see that you've heard about, you know, some of the facts don't, you know, you get some things aren't necessarily entirely canon. You can do some back twisting to say this makes sense. It's Star Wars.
Puzzle piece things together in the storyline just comes with the.
Hey man, there's sound in space. Right,
but
come on.
There's also that notion of this is a rebellion. There's a degree of being an unreliable narrator in everything that you hear, because what's credible intelligence other than maybe you let something slip that somebody didn't need to know? You know, so there's ways of explaining all of that. But that to me was the thing that really, when I heard that, set the tone that I used in my head for following Andor, was Andor as being that messenger, the herald, you know, that avenging angel that shows up at just the moment when you got to have him. He's not somebody you're going to be spending a whole lot of time in the bar with if you can help it. But if you need him, that's the guy you want right there.
Yeah. Especially if you're trapped on a planet and you need to be rescued, for sure.
You need an exfil, great. That's the guy to call.
Not that he's biased in any way, but all of the singular people that he's had to go and save have been women. So if you're a female and trapped on a planet, it's gonna. Though he did, when he went back for Clea, he did think he was also going to rescue Luthen. So
to be fair,
he didn't know Luthen was dead yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, I don't think Luthen was ever going to be in a position to be able to transition into the rest of the rebellion. He'd done his job, and he kind of knew that. And he knew that she was going to be taken away safely. And I think that was the moment where it's almost that I've sacrificed it. Let me make my last sacrifice for what needs to be done. And I mean, you knew it was coming.
He was also definitely happy that she wasn't there. Like,
Right.
oh, good. Oh, I feel like that's what made him feel he could take his own life in that time, because he's like, all right, she's gone, so she'll be alerted to what's going on here and be safe. So I don't need to. But if I'm alive and captured, she will try to save me. So I need not only to protect the information I have, but also to protect Clea. I think that definitely went through his head. That was one of the pieces of why he chose to do that. He chose to try to end his own life. But yeah, no, it was a great. Alexander Skarsgård was also great in that role. Like, it was so good.
The one other scene that set it for me that I think set the tone so well was the episode about, where they're sitting on Naboo, eat your ice cream. Okay, make the decision about pushing the button.
Man, and then he still, and she chose, and then he still did it for her so she wouldn't carry the pain.
Right.
Yeah, that was good.
I mentioned that last week.
I mean, that moment reminded me of Leon the Professional.
That's a good one. What it's been reminding me of, and Noman Garden's got it, and I think I mentioned it last week too, was that scene with Chiwetel Ejiofor in Serenity, when they're like, "Oh, and you're going to make this better place for you to live in." Mal says that to him, and he's like,
"No, I'm a monster.
I am a monster."
Yeah.
This is one of the. Yeah. That was one of the most baller scenes. Like, I remember watching that in the theater and me like, "Yes!"
It's like he knows himself. Yeah.
Very well.
He knows exactly who he is and what he's doing.
And that
Yeah.
whole thought process for the if you lay that on all of the characters, like all of the major characters that we've seen, Saw Gerrera, Luthen, Cassian, Bix, Dedra, Cyril, Krennic, like most of them see themselves as the hero of their own story. In the case of like Krennic, he's definitely like much more narcissistic and like he doesn't care who he hurts. Where Dedra thinks she's doing the right thing and helping people.
Yeah.
But like, and then on the flip side of that, you have Luthen and Saw Gerrera, who is like Luthen thinks he's helping, is trying to help people and wants to help people, even though he doesn't mind, you know, killing perfectly innocent people to do so, like Lonnie Young, the Imperial officer that was spying for him. That he
Tara
killed.
Van Gien in the Stormlight Archives.
Absolutely.
I will sacrifice one to save the city.
Absolutely.
I will sacrifice the city to save the world.
Yeah, and Saw Gerrera is kind of like the sociopath that they have on a very, very, very short leash. Well, not even. They think they have him leashed. He's just very barely leashed, and he enjoys killing people, and thankfully he's doing it for them.
But I think that the scene with Saw Gerrera when they were stealing the fuel, right?
Yep.
Where he's plucking off the mask and inhaling that, getting that notion of that high and that insanity, that controlled insanity, and
he's also in that moment, and I mentioned it then, but
Forrest Whitaker is just amazing. I love that guy.
I love him so. I'll watch anything with him in it.
Oh, absolutely.
He's also recruiting that he at the time Willem. He is a child then. Still, he's very young then. So like he's literally radicalizing him and introducing him to drugs while radicalizing him into a war, which is very reminiscent to like the African warlords that used child soldiers.
Yeah.
So like, and he's a good guy.
Good guy.
Yeah. So like, I like the way that they play with that in this. Like, there is not that there isn't a good or bad, because there is, but the people in those positions of like Luthen Vale and Mon Mothma, it does come down to points where you have to make decisions where there's no good decision.
Yeah.
And not romanticizing that into having like a perfect outcome all the time. In where like I feel like if this was written in even in the 90s or in the early 2000s, they wouldn't have this dichotomy with the good characters. They would just be, perfect. There you go. He's not a good guy. He's just on the right side.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important part is there's nobody squeaky clean. Everybody is running in the gray to accomplish what it is they need to do.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes from anything is from The West Wing, and I think it applies here because it has to do with war. And this is a war between the rebellion and the Empire. It's a necessary war because of where the worlds are at that time. But one of the generals I think he's the Secretary of Defense, and he's like a 4-star general in The West Wing, and they're discussing war crimes because the time that this was written, it was about the U.S. joining the International Court, being abiding by their laws and stuff, and the reason why they wouldn't or don't want to do it, and they're going back and forth with that. And the general the general in this moment is arguing against joining the International Court, and the politician he's talking to is arguing to join it. And the general is giving all these reasons why, but then at the end he says there's all wars are crimes. Like everything that we do is a crime, even us. And that's why because there are times when we have to make these decisions, like it's hard to, if we do that, and we go back, there's going to be too much. Not that I agree or disagree with that, because I don't know enough. I'm not smart enough to make kind of distinction, but I just thought it was a really powerful line, and it really just applies to any kind of war. Sometimes it's necessary. It would be great if it wasn't, but sometimes it's necessary.
Well, any conflict. I mean, there's always times when conflict is necessary.
Yeah.
The question is,
it would be great if we didn't if it didn't have to involve physical fighting and
physical
death.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not there yet. We're not to the perfect, and even the Federation in Star Trek wasn't the greatest either. Like they had a lot of, but like at the moment of the show, there's a utopia. People are, they have literally can create food with replicators. Like that's definitely there shouldn't be anyone starving on,
we have
any planet.
economics.
Yeah. So we talked about characters we'd like to see before we jump into our little game that we play at the end and answer a few questions that I starred in chat that I saw. We talked about characters we'd like to see get spin-offs. So obviously Clea and Bix are two big ones.
Mhm.
Are there Crystal and then you guys and anyone in chat if you want to chime in? Do you have any characters that you could think of that you would like to see a spin-off series of?
I would like to see Dedra suffer in prison.
That's the whole show.
That's the whole show. That's all we need.
Just her quietly sitting in her
Like
cell
being
and
humbled. Yeah,
Stupid.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe I just don't like bullies. I don't know. What about you, Jim?
Well, and I'm trying. Of course, I've gone blank on his name, but kind of the general that ran, the fleet that was always coming down on Andor. Like, I'm trying to promote
Stop
you.
leaving. Yeah.
But I mean, he was in lore, he is basically the spy master, right?
Yeah.
He's running the fleet. He's running in that sort of control. I'd be really curious to see, and this is one of those things I'd like to have seen, like out of a Rogue Squadron series or something along those lines. Is I'd like to see him and kind of the ops that they would be running as well. That to me would be an interesting sort of series to see how he came about and how he made it through, because from what I remember in lore as him as kind of an Empire spy master before he joined the rebellion, is I could see that being another interesting story, because again, he's one of those guys that's trying to make the hard decisions.
Him?
Yes, thank you. And I could not remember his name.
Draven,
yes.
I know. I'd also like Vel to be in that series.
Oh, Vel, yeah, Vel would be a great one.
So I mean, I could imagine a series that's a partnership between them running a spy network in amongst the Empire and calling missions.
Oh, that would be. I would watch that.
Me too, for sure. Do you have any thoughts on that, Crystal?
Oh, for me, it's 100% Clea. But then the character that I think the most is probably Bix, and so I would love to see more of that.
Yeah, me too. I think the possibility of a Clea spinoff is very, very probable. Mm-hmm. Where a Bix spinoff, a little less so, because I don't know if you guys have seen, but Adria Arjona, she's like it right now in Hollywood, and her name is being thrown around all over the place, specifically for Wonder Woman at the moment.
Oh.
That's rumored, and that's people on the internet saying that they want it, and she's been asked on several talk shows if she would do it, and she said yes. So but it's not any official announcement or anything like that. But I think that would be really cool for her to be a Wonder Woman.
Well, and I think the big thing here is it's going to be hard is going to be who's going to carry a movie, because again, more and more we're hearing that they're backing away from doing TV series. It's kind of. Even though I think there's a lot of these things that could be done at more cost effectively and cheaper and whatnot. But I mean, the writing has got to be solid. And I mean, we've seen enough very expensive Disney series where the writing was not.
Yeah. I'm happy with Filoni and Favreau being the Feige in the Disney universe. In the Star Wars universe. It seems like when they let Favreau and Filoni and the creatives do their thing, we get good outcomes. It's when the studio starts to put their fingers in stuff is when shit gets messed up. I don't know, firing the writer and director of your of one movie in between a sequel of a second one, and then firing the new guy you hire to rehire the original guy for the third one. Don't know if that. Which was, the sequel trilogy that we got.
Well, I mean, you had a final trilogy that had no consistent story arc.
No, it was miserable. I loved individually a lot of the things that they did, but obviously the consistent thing. Me too. I will follow Filoni and Favreau wherever they go, and watch it. If no one has had the chance, I think I've mentioned it before. Favreau has a TV show on Netflix that he did. It's called Chef, the Chef Show. He made a movie called The Chef, which is also fantastic. Go and check it out. When he was making that, though, the cook consultant that they had on the show, that they had for the movie, him and Jon Favreau became really fast friends, and Jon Favreau enjoyed cooking so much that he wanted to continue doing it. So they were like, hey, let's just make a show where we cook together. And they did that, and it's fantastic, and you should watch every episode. But there's an episode where when they were filming this, the Clone Wars cartoon was still being made. They film an episode on Skywalker Ranch. They harvest food from Skywalker Ranch and only use food that they got from there, plus some oysters that they got in a previous episode. And Dave Filoni is there writing the end of Clone Wars. So he comes down and cooks with them for that episode, and they have a really fun discussion on Star Wars and Clone Wars itself, and a little bit of background on what was going on at the time, which was interesting. It was like they were supposed to film an episode of the show. Favreau was like, "Oh, I got to go to Skywalker Ranch because I got to record some stuff because he does a couple of voices in the Clone Wars," and they were like, "Why don't we just do an episode there?" that's how they did that episode, which I thought was great. But if you only watch that episode, if you go and you've only ever seen that episode, I guarantee you'll be watching the rest of the series before long, because the two of them together, Roy Choi, which is the cook, and Favreau are just fucking awesome together. They're hilarious. Oh, man. All right.
I also love cooking, so.
Me too.
Me
I
too.
am the cook in my house. Oh, yeah.
Me too. I am as well.
Yep.
That's fine.
Wait, hold on. Okay, is it the same for you guys? I am the cook. Aaron is the baker.
No, I love
no, I do both. I do both.
Okay. I
do some baking, but the wife is now adopted to the sourdough life.
Yeah, no, I
okay.
bake. I make layered cakes and mousse
but
cakes.
You're a fucking mathematician and a bio. So wait, all right. Biomedical math.
Yes.
So where does, and not to go too much off a tangent, but like the reason I don't do baking is because it's too fine. You're a scientist, so you're used to being exact with measurements.
I do like that aspect of it.
That's the part I don't like. When I cook by feeling a lot and taste, and like you can't do that with baking because you put too much baking soda. Too much salt.
You've got to be fairly precise with some things. So.
Yeah, I can't.
With most of it, yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it.
So,
okay, we had one science-based question, a math question for David that I want to bring up.
Okay.
I'm curious, where does what's biomedical mathematics? Like, how does that?
So my PhD, I worked on gynecological oncology using something called symmetry analysis to solve some partial differential equations related to how tumors grew.
Okay.
Wow.
And so I solved, basically the short is I solved a 200-year-old math problem.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like I would put that everywhere. Why don't you? Why is this the first time I've heard that about you?
I don't know.
I tell people that all the time.
I mean,
he's been working on it for 310 years, though.
That's right. It took me a little while.
Yeah. Okay, so the math question that we had pop up in chat was, and I know nothing about this, so you'll have to. So the question for later for Dr.
The
Ekrut,
sum is n equals 1 to 4. Ramanujan. Wait, hold on. I started with the numbers. Let me actually read what's question.
The Ramanujan summation. I don't know.
The Ramanujan. So Ramanujan was a Indian mathematician that was discovered by a famous British mathematician. I mean, you can prove this, I guess, but I don't know what's the question exactly.
I don't know. Your thoughts on it? I guess I don't know. Do you have thoughts on it? Or him?
Ramanujan's a really cool guy.
If you don't know that equation specifically,
I don't know that equation specifically, and
tumor fractals.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I can.
Oh, is it fancy math or real?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Is it fancy? I'm not. I know a lot about Ramanujan, and I know a lot about series and sequences, which that was a series. But I'll look it up. I'll let you know
Okay.
what I think.
All right.
The
I'll give an update next week when
Yeah.
Dave, you can email it to me.
It's called. So I know Ramanujan, but what
The
did you?
Ramanujan summation.
Summation.
How did you do
He
in
has so
school
many.
with math, Jim?
Well, let's put it this way. I've been in technology for a long time. I got started as an accountant.
So you were also pretty good at math.
Yeah, I'm not David. But I've spent a little bit of time around numbers.
Okay. I had I have severe dyslexia and dyscalculia. So like I was never good in math.
Mhm.
And when they invented the new math, or they showed the new way to do math that they were introducing,
Yeah.
Common Core.
or another, the Common Core way, I was
Yeah.
like, that's how I've always done math. That is how I've always done it in my head since I was a child.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But they just wouldn't let me do it that way in school. They would, no, you have to follow these steps. I'm like, well, I
Uh-huh.
can't do that.
Show
Like,
your
no, I
work,
can't do
Tom.
that.
Show your work.
I hated that. I hated that so much.
But yeah, that's what I had a lot of people like basically blame me as if I had anything to do with it. Like, why do I have to learn this? I was like, I don't have any power or control.
Go to your school board.
But I do try, and parents that complain or people that complain, I'm like, but this is how mathematicians think. So if your child can stick with it, eventually this will benefit them. But
Hey, listen, I do math like mathematicians. I wish I can go back and tell my high
you
school
should.
math teacher that I forgot what they called it then. I think it was, but I had regents. So if anyone in the country had regents exams, like as their state tests, they'll know. There was like 7 or 8 states that did it, I think. There were just really ridiculous state tests. I was in New York when they did it, and it was like Math 1, Math 2, Math 3, and then it was weird combinations of things. The teachers hated it. I remember that.
Well, when you get to math cubed, it's wait.
It's I couldn't follow. Though, but surprisingly, very good in physics and chemistry.
Because you could do the math, you just didn't have to show it.
Exactly. They would let me do the math without having to show the work, and as long as the answer was right, they didn't care. That was I'm so glad that I wish I was going to school. Actually, no, I don't. I wouldn't trade going to school now for social media.
Yeah, no.
Being in school when social media is a thing, never mind.
No, absolutely.
Not jealous of kids for that. All right.
I couldn't survive being a kid again.
Oh, me either. I do not envy children nowadays. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah. Oh man. I am so glad that camera phones were not around when I was in high school.
Me too.
Yeah.
But my mom was watching, so I won't say why.
Yeah. Yeah.
One
of my students was like, when did you get your first cell phone? I was like, I was 19. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, no, honey, there weren't cell phones that young people could buy back then.
I know.
They were very expensive.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my kids about how their mother and I are Zennials. So we're in this micro generation where,
Me too, yeah.
like, if you're born in 1975, you are statistically less likely to be technologically inclined or want to embrace new technologies. Where if you're born in 1985, it's the opposite. And I was born right in the middle, but I lean strongly towards, new technologies. But we grew up in an era of watching and feeling the advancement of technology from no internet, and outside was our Google.
Yep.
And limited.
You just believed people when they said shit.
Yeah, it's like, that must be
true.
get
off my lawn. All y'all get off my lawn.
So when people made up statistics like 90% of people are blank, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You threw a number in there. Yeah.
You didn't find out when celebrities died the moment they died.
Yeah, I'm from a generation where, again, the parents had to be told, do you know where your kids are at?
Yeah. Oh, I had to come home when the streetlights came on.
Yeah,
That was my.
I was gonna say it was the streetlights.
It's like you had to be reminded. Your parents had to be reminded that they had kids. I saw a comedian do it.
We're also told to stay out of the house all day. Go away. Don't come back until it's dark. And now, if my own child disappeared for that long, I would be.
You're like panic attacks.
Yeah. Right. Oh, absolutely. I would be hospitalized.
It's like, oh my god, they're going to be on a milk carton.
Yep. They don't even have milk cartons.
I know. Right.
I'm so old. I bought my first cell phone.
Me too. Actually, I was in my mid 20s or early 20s when I was like 23 when I got my first cell phone.
I still have my Nokia, the little Nokia.
Yeah, me too. I've kept every generation.
It still works too. Does yours still work? I could play Snake on mine.
I haven't tried to power it on. I should.
I was cleaning out a drawer and I found it and the charger and I was like, I got to see if this works. I plugged it in and it worked.
I bet I can find a charger or order one just out of curiosity. But at the time I was like, I don't want people to be able to find me anytime they want. Why would I want a cell phone? And now
I still feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too sometimes. For sure.
Definitely.
Like, I remember, you calling people and just being like, are they home? No? Okay.
Having to
I
talk
guess they're
to
gone.
their parents first.
Yep.
You call and you have to talk to their mom or dad because.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
No one will ever, like, the young people will never know the terror of calling your crush's house and having to talk to their parent first before they would put the other, the person on the phone that you're calling for.
I had to call my friend he worked nights and I had to call him and try and get his parents to wake him up so he could come play D&D.
But he's still sleeping. Well, wake him up. He's our wizard. No, I don't feel like the wizard would oversleep. Yeah. All right. So usually at the end of our shows, we do our Inside the Dragon Mount Studio questionnaire, which we will do. I was actually going to ask David if you wanted to record it separately later because Jim already did one. It's just 10 short questions themed for like the James Lipton Inside the Actor Studio thing. So maybe we'll.
Did I do that? I don't remember.
Yeah, you did it at the end of the last episode that we did together. Yeah.
Well,
if not, I'll go back and double check. If not, we can do it with you too and re-record it. I just got to check when you started because we only started doing it in this last, not this with Andor, but the show before. But the other thing that we do when we have people on that have already answered the questions or whatever is we play some like fun word games that we can play, virtually. And what we've been doing with Star Wars is like, would you rathers, or you can only keep one, things like that.
Oh man, I love word games.
Me too.
But so, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, not a quiz. It's more just like your opinions on things and like what you like, don't like, stuff like that. So, are you guys good to play? A few minutes.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I'll start it off, and then Crystal, do you still have some of your own? If
not, I am pulling up my old list.
Okay. I have a.
So for your humor, David, I just sent you the seafood boil I just did a couple weeks ago.
Ooh.
Oh man, you didn't invite me? I'm out of here. Just kidding.
What'd you have?
Man, that's amazing.
We were cooking for Grandfather Mountain Games because we've got a big kitchen because we're doing for our whole neighborhood every night.
That's awesome.
We went through about 740 pounds of protein alone over 12 days.
Whoa.
So what I sent to him was part of the cook, which was 35 pounds of shrimp, 30 pounds of snow crab legs, bushel of corn, about 15 pounds of sausage, 10 pounds, I think it was 10 pounds of 10 or 12 pounds of mussels, 10 or 12 pounds of scallops, and 15 pounds of fried catfish.
Oh my God. I'm in a food coma right now just thinking about it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And there was basically nothing left.
I love everything that I grew up in a beach town, so like which is odd for New York, I guess, right? Like I grew up in a beach town, eat like shucking clams and eating mussels like right out of the like literally hard, like they would cut them off the docks, clean them in the kitchen and put them right on your plate.
Yeah, I grew up on fried food, so I didn't really get this stuff until I was much older and could afford it. So I love seafood.
Yeah. That's why I keep telling you, bring the kids, camp out. We'll,
I'll have to do that.
I'm gonna have to crash one of your boils.
Come on up.
God. All right.
Yeah, I'll
Back to
see you in
Star
20
Wars.
hours.
We can drive together at least. That'll be a
Yeah,
fun
I'll stop by Tampa. And
There you go. Pick me up, and then we'll go up.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna start with you can only keep one.
Oh, okay.
So you
Okay.
have to pick one. And I'll start with David, and then you can, and we'll jump back and forth. Pod racing or sabak?
Mm.
I'm gonna go with pod racing.
Okay. It is more exciting for sure.
Jim?
Ooh, I guess I'm gonna have to go with pod racing.
It's definitely more exciting. And I could honestly, anytime I think about pod racing, I could hear what's his face's ship in my head, like the gunk 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 gunk. that I forgot his name. Sebulba. I remembered his name.
Sebulba.
Yeah, his ship made in the thing. All right, Crystal, you're up.
Okay, so would you rather rebuild the Jedi Order or start a new kind of Force tradition?
Oh no, I'm going brand new.
Yeah, I mean, brand new, definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely. They got way too dogmatic toward the end.
Yeah.
All right. This one's a little tough. It would be tough for me. All right, we have to lose one TV show forever. Andor or The Mandalorian?
I might have to answer based with my kids in mind.
That's fair. Okay.
And if I do that, I will, with my kids in mind, I would have to keep Mandalorian, lest they kill me in my sleep.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I'm probably gonna actually go Andor
To keep.
just because to me I would keep Andor because it has given so much to the universe. While The Mandalorian is a ton of fun, I think that there's been enough missteps and up and down. While I love the show, I love the series and everything they've done, Andor to me is better storytelling.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. It's definitely better storytelling.
Not as good on the merchandising, but you know.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on your points there.
The writer in me wins on the storytelling.
I would totally start a new one too, Glenn.
All right. Would you rather give up emotional attachments forever like a Jedi or embrace power and corruption like a Sith?
Oh, man.
Power and corruption.
Not surprising.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm a bit on the spectrum, and I am compelled to do what I think is right. So I would have to be a Jedi.
That's fair. Okay. Same vein a little bit, but you can only it doesn't come with all the baggage. We'll just say that you get the ability. We'll start with Jim this time. Force lightning or force choke. Doesn't come with all the baggage of having to be a Sith and all those things. Just, you gain this ability.
I think Force Lightning is going to be way more utilitarian. My wife, however, would love to have the Force choke. That has been her lifelong dream.
I can't tell you how many times I've been like Erin can attest to this, where I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I do that a lot.
See, I would choose the choke too. It's the next best thing to have done this.
Crushing people's heads.
So yeah, I would go with the choke.
David's heard the story before, but my wife, when she was in corporate, I gave her one year for Christmas the 52-inch fathead Death Star, and that was up in her office with a row of all the collectible Darth Vaders.
That's wonderful. See, and that's what I mean. Like we have the villains were just too cool back in the day. All right.
Yeah, they were cool.
Never mind. Sorry, I digress.
Do you have?
Oh yes. So this one's just kind of silly. Would you rather be forced to cosplay as Jar Jar at every convention you ever attend ever, or only be allowed to talk about the holiday special?
Go ahead, David.
Oh God. Wait. So the second part, I would. Oh man.
Like if you would only at conventions,
Would
you
I
would
have
only
to?
talk about the Star
Would
Wars.
I have to talk like Jar Jar?
Yeah, no, I think if you're cosplaying, you have to. Yeah.
Well,
Misa thinks you would have to.
Okay, this is your question. We'll
I don't know. I don't think if I could stay on topic and only talk, I would have to pick. I'd be talking all kinds of crazy science and weird things, and Jar Jar Binks. I'd be like I'd be selling books, and I'd be yeah. I'd have to
God. You would attract people to your table and drive people away.
and drive
from
them
your
away.
office.
You know. But I know myself well enough to know I would fail if I tried to.
Ooh. Seeing as how I remember watching the holiday special as a kid live, so I'm that old, and the fact that I subjected my wife to it during COVID because she didn't believe me that such a thing existed. She called her brother, and he was like, "Yeah, we watched that as kids," and she's like, "I blanked it out from my memory."
I don't blame her.
And so I pulled it up on YouTube and made her watch it while I was cooking during the holidays. And I have the pictures of the trauma. It's beautiful. And being the fact that I will frequently pull the trauma that is the holiday special out, but to be limited in subject, Misa think me gonna be talking as a Jar Jar.
Yeah. I get, because then you can't being on Star Wars panels. That's all you would only you would have to bring everything back to the holiday special. Even if you
I kind of almost want
which I can do.
You know, I kind of almost want to do that at the next con, just because, without explanation, just show up.
All right, we have a challenge next time.
Yeah, I was about
together.
to say this is a challenge. Like, how many times can you bring up? Like, if you're in a Star Wars panel. On the panel, how many times can you bring up the holiday special, but also make it meaningful to
make
the
it relevant?
conversation?
We have to tie it back
relevant to the conversation. That would be
have a
fantastic.
challenge.
Oh my god! And for people, which I really don't think there can be anybody that hasn't seen like the at least an image from the holiday special at this point. I have a picture that I can.
Your wife, Tom. Your wife.
I know she hasn't. Don't even get me started with that.
You have a mission.
I know. Well, it's hard to get her to watch the. I've got. Don't worry. She's much better than she used to be. But here's an image from the holiday special. The one thing that we got in the holiday special was Life Day. I do like Life Day. It's fun. The Wookiee.
And Carrie Fisher had no pupils.
None. Oh God, she was so fucked up. I do not blame her. Like she was like, "What are we doing? Where's the cocaine table?"
Yeah.
The number one thing we got is B. Arthur is officially.
Oh yes, B. Arthur's canon, a Star Wars cantina. As
a bartender she's the daytime bartender in the cantina.
I do like that we got that. And I'll pull up an image of B. Arthur in the canteen in a second. But all right, that was a good one. All right, all right. Compete in a pod race or play in a game of sabacc. And to narrow that down, or to make it more specific. Yeah, I was about to say no Wookiees in the sabacc. It's the game at the end of Solo, so it's Han and Carrie and Lando and like the team that he was playing with, and the pod race that Anakin is in Episode 1. Would you want to be one of the players at that table or one of the drivers in that pod race?
You know, I've always wanted to. I don't know. I like. I used to have a motorcycle. My wife made me get rid of it. And so, pod racing would be my choice.
I would never want to ride a motorcycle in Florida, so I don't blame you.
No, I had kids. I did have college kids try to kill me, which is why she made me get rid of it.
I don't blame her.
See, if given the chance to win the Millennium Falcon by playing with Han Solo and Lando, I'm playing Sabat all day long. Keep the Guinness coming.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Oh, you didn't mention there was Guinness. I changed my answer.
I mean, they were drinking, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. All right. Would you
my
rather?
reflexes are not good enough for pod racing.
That's fair. Mine either.
I
And I had the
mean-
reflexes of a force-sensitive person and still didn't just out and out win with no issue.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's making me rethink this.
It's all right. You like the death-defying parts of it too.
Sometimes.
All right. So, would you rather spend a year surviving on Dagobah with Yoda, or you live lavishly under Jabba, but you are his favorite servant?
Oh, man, you had to add that last part, huh?
Yeah. The caveat.
I grew up in Arkansas. Man, give me Yoda.
I'm from Low Country, South Carolina. We had Dagobah.
I was gonna say it's gonna be hot.
Right.
It's gonna be hot, but
Yeah.
that's okay. All right, and then the last one. Unless, do you have one that you want to do too?
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Okay, I have one. All right, so then we'll finish up on yours. You have to. It's like choose your own torture, but if you were arrested or captured in the Star Wars universe, would you rather be held in Jabba the Hutt's prison or the brig in the Death Star?
It is sort of choose your own death.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Jim go first this time.
I'm thinking that I've got a better chance of bullshitting my way out of Jabba's palace or getting a job.
Okay.
If nothing else, I'm pretty sure that the last meal might be better, even if I am that last meal.
That's fair.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Jim. I know that's kind of boring, but
No,
That's-
it makes perfect sense.
yeah, I would. I don't know, something a little bit poetic about being served raw.
All right.
Ekrut Tatar.
I think as a teacher, my answer to this question is already going to be obvious to everyone. But would you rather spend your weekends repairing a droid with a bad attitude or training a Padawan who kept asking stupid questions?
I teach mathematics, so
In
I
Florida.
mean, in Florida, and there are no such thing as stupid questions. Is my my official statement.
That's the way you make people that ask stupid questions feel better. I get it.
Yes.
As one of those people, I'm okay with that.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to be. I'll be training that student.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, Padawan.
My first question is, do the Padawans have their lightsabers yet?
Yes.
Well, it doesn't really change my answer. Being the fact that I'm a partner in a software company where we do game stuff and event management tech and all this kind of other stuff, I'm already trying to fix droids on a weekly basis anyway. I'm just going to go kick another droid with a bad attitude because at least they probably don't have lightsabers.
Okay,
Just
I
skewer
amend
me
my
with.
answer to what Rapunzel said. There's no stupid questions, but there's
There we
stupid
go.
people that ask questions. I like that.
There are definitely some people that are placed in calculus that are not ready.
They're not yet ready to test their limits.
They are not. Nice. I appreciate your puns.
That's good. That's good. I'll co-sign onto that statement. That was pretty good. And before we go off on another tangent, let's.
I wish I wore that shirt now. I have that shirt.
Okay, good. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and I have the links to David's website and Jim's website in the description of the video on YouTube, and please make sure to go and like and share and, click on that little subscribe button in the YouTubes and hit the bell so that you know when we're getting our next stuff up, when we get our videos listed, or when I finally remember to list the video for the next week. As per usual, I forget often. And speaking of next week, I did remember to create and upload the thumbnail for next week's episode. So I'm happy for myself when I do that. I spend hours sitting, watching the episode, reading articles and interviews, and forget to do the simple thing like make next week's thumbnail. Story of my life. But next week we'll be hanging out with author and fantastic human being who we've had on the show before, Darren Bush, who lovingly is filling in for the person who was going to be on next week's episode, but couldn't make it due to some scheduling conflicts. But I can announce is going to be joining us this weekend for a special Patreon-only interview. So Zenobia Kloppers, who I love saying her name, I will say it all day long, who is an actor in the Wheel of Time show. She was a huge Wheel of Time fan prior to joining the Wheel of Time cast. She shared a memory from her Facebook from 2013, from when she finished the series, and basically a big thank you post to Team Jordan and to Brandon for finishing the series. But she's also a gigantic nerd. Mm-hmm. She loves Star Trek and Star Wars, and she in the episode that she joined us on, which was the season finale of season 3 of Wheel of Time that we were watching, we announced that we were going to be watching Galaxy Quest before we started Andor. Mm-hmm. And she pulled her Galaxy Quest DVD from, we didn't tell her that. She didn't know.
Yeah, she had it.
She had it. I was like, you're one of us. So she was like, I totally want to come back for Andor. She couldn't, she's filming, which is completely understandable. And the filming is going along, but she's able to come for this interview that we're going to do strictly for Patreon people. You could join live, and then it will be recorded so we can get it posted. It's either going to happen Saturday or Sunday. It'll be posted on all the Drag 'em Out social medias. I'll post it in the Drag 'em Out Discord, which you can join in a link also in the description of this video. And it'll be a ton of fun. So if you're a Patreon member, you'll be able to join and chat live with us while we're recording. And then if you can't join or aren't a member of the Patreon, you'll be able to see it when we get it posted on YouTube. But that's pretty much all we got going on. Anything that you guys want to promote before we get off? I know Jim, you said you're going to be at Dragon Con, right?
I'll be at Dragon. I'm doing a bunch of workshops and a bunch of panels. I'll be doing basically a business for creatives workshops again, as well as an IP workshop. Dragging in a couple of IP attorneys that do a bunch of stuff with. They'll be on with me. Doing a bunch of panels, running my mouth all over the place. Be at Fantasy Gather, signing some books. And I'll probably be in the writer's bar at some point. So, that's kind of the next big thing. This season, I had to peel back a little bit on cons this season just because of too much stuff to be done. So, but yes, I can be found, and we're doing a bunch of stuff on Continual. So it's not hard to find me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I am a little bit more challenging to find these days. I really would like to go to another con. I'm hoping I can get over to Jordan Con, maybe not as a panelist, but as just a fan.
But you've been a panel. You've been a guest before, yeah.
I've been there a few years, but it's
many of our watchers are from the Wheel of Time community, and many of them have been to Jordan Con.
I'm wearing a.
Oh yeah, the Tuatha Con. That's one of my favorite ones too.
I love this one. But I'm hoping. I'm just working hard to get my book out this year. So my next L1 book the goal is December. So we'll see. I've got the cover. I've got, most of the things are lining up, but we'll see. I'm trying to. This is far less fun and a little more geeky, and I might lose some people, but I'm creating an agent for answering questions that are found in the syllabus, so that that'll save me some time in the fall,
cool.
hopefully.
That's cool, though.
But yeah, no, just hopefully I can see people at cons, and you know.
And when that new book comes out, we'll make sure to share it on all our social medias too. Just make sure.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Ping me. Yeah, I always try to I always try to support all the authors that I know by doing that. But like I want to make sure that Dragon Mount, we have you guys on. I want to keep following. The reason why we have you here isn't just because I personally like you, and I want to see you guys more so than just once a year. It's also because I definitely think that your work is good, and I think other people should see it as well. So
thank you.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can come back to Jordan next year, and hopefully it's not a conflict with an event I run.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone for watching. I love all of you awesome nerds, and I love all of you awesome nerds. Thank you for coming and giving us some of your time by joining us on this adventure we're taking through Andor. But with that, say goodnight, Crystal.
Good night, Crystal.